Lagoon are the market leaders when it comes to building blue water catamarans. The success of the Lagoon 42, with over 1,000 hulls built, is testament to their reliability, serviceability and popularity in the marine industry. The Lagoon 43 is taking over the mantle from the Lagoon 42 and represents the next in line for the evolution and generation of these blue water cruising vessels. Let's take a look through this vessel, the new features, the layouts and the tweaks in design that is going to make this vessel an award winner. Starting at the stern of the boat, we have this very comfortable aft bench setup. This is a very deep seat with fore or aft facing backrest. So this is facing aft, this is facing forwards. And when the davits are lowered, the netting on the davits becomes an extension of the cockpit. You can also option a cushion on there for extra sun lounging space. The davit system on this vessel lifts the dinghy well clear of the water when raised, but it's not too high to impede your vision out of the cockpit. Another key feature on this model is the revolutionary side access gate. So this allows very easy access when the vessel is parked alongside. Normally on a vessel, parked alongside represents a number of challenges with getting on and off the boat, especially for young children and the elderly. However, this provides super easy access with a step down onto the dock for disembarkation. Super easy access. Welcome on board. At the aft of each of the transoms here, we have direct access into the engine room, as we know from the other models in the range. And as well as that, we just have one step down onto the transom. A big part of the design brief with this vessel was to minimize steps and create easy flow and movement throughout the vessel. So reducing the step there, you'd have one step up and you're straight into the saloon and the cockpit level moving around the boat. Taking a quick look into the engine room itself, we obviously have two of these on board, and the vessel is powered by a Yanmar 57 horsepower engine. Now this is a bigger engine for a vessel of this size, and it is the standard and there's only one engine. So it's well powered and a good reliable Yanmar engine. Heaps of room in the engine rooms. Again, with a lot of volume and a lot of space in the back of each hull. We have a lot of area in here for servicing and maintaining the engine. We can also fit a water maker as well as batteries, inverters in the engine rooms as well. So super usable, lots of space for maintaining your equipment. Moving into the cockpit itself, this does have a seamless connection into the saloon, which we'll talk about after we've had a look around the outside of the vessel. But in the cockpit itself, we have a little lounge here with storage underneath, as well as great seating down the starboard side of the table. This is an upgraded table. The standard table is a white gel coat table, a little bit smaller, but it's nice to have a really big dining table out here because I feel this area is where everything is going to happen. An L-shaped bench here, again a little bit configurable, which we'll talk about soon. 144 litres of optional fridge space here as well. So we have a very big fridge inside, which we'll look at shortly, but this creates even more fridge space for hosting and entertaining, and especially if you're cruising a little bit further away from the shops. Overall in the cockpit here, there is plenty of headroom. I'm about 6 foot and I'd say there's about nearly 7 foot of headroom here. And that's impressive because we do have the semi-fly upstairs, which obviously takes up volume in the gel coat and in the coach roof and the moldings. So to create enough headroom here whilst maintaining that semi-fly upstairs is a great way to design a vessel, and I think it's really worked, and this feels like a large, open and airy area. For those that are cruising more long distance or traveling further afield, you can fully enclose this area with clears as well as the Helm Station to create a perfectly sealed and homely environment in here out of the weather. Now I know we're all itching to take a look inside, but before we do that, let's just take a look around the outside of the vessel, the Helm Station and the semi-fly. So moving up to the Helm Station, this is the Helm Station we know and love from the 42. It's offset to port and much of the layout is similar to the old Model 42. We have a very nice, comfortable helm seat here with a lowering bolster. You can put this all the way down and it is a very comfortable place to sit for the night watch or the longer sailing trips. The visibility forward is good. I can see over the brow of the coach roof, and I've also got good visibility aft. In a standing position, I've got even better visibility, good access to the throttles, and very easy access to the twin winches here. You get one electric winch as standard, and when you upgrade the second to an electric winch, you also get a flat winder system for the main sheet traveller. Now, so this allows for electronic trimming of the traveller to make it super easy, trimming of the main just from a button here without having to load or unload the winch, easing the sheets, etc. The Helm Station has been designed very ergonomically. For example, these winches are kind of on a pedestal mounted closer to me. The throttles are quite a delicate area. They're actually protected in a bit of a cavity here, but overall the Helm Station is very well designed with a footrest here as well. So when you are on the bolster or sitting down, your feet aren't dangling in the air. We have a 12-inch plotter here at the Helm Station. It's a Raymarine Axiom display, as well as the autopilot remote and the i70S display with an anchor chain counter and control as well. Wireless VHF and everything you need for running the vessel. Outside of sailing the vessel with a code 0 or an asymmetric spinnaker, the entirety of the sailing operation can be done from here using these winches. And now onto one of the key new features of this new Lagoon 43, the semi-fly. Now this is a semi-raised flybridge. It is super social with the Helm Station and allows for an amazing place to sit with good elevation, good visibility, in plenty of clear air with your friends and family. Up here on the semi-fly, we have comfortable seating for up to about 6 adults, I'd say, so a great place to enjoy your sundowners. We have a bench seat here, no backrest, but what this allows is easy access to the additional sun lounging pads here on the coach roof. There is a backrest, an L-shaped backrest down starboard side and across the stern. So really, sitting, I reckon this is the best seat on the boat. This is the Admiral's seat. If you have the captain driving over there, you've got amazing visibility. You can really enjoy your day sailing and plenty of clearance as well on the boom, as long as everyone is sitting down. With this new setup on the 43, the Helm Station has seamless connection with the cockpit below, as well as the semi-fly cockpit up here. So seamless integration amongst 3 zones makes it a very versatile and usable space for everyone on board. Particularly for the skipper or the owner of the vessel, who is now able to be the center of the social activity rather than just the guy driving the boat. Just behind me here, aft of the semi-fly, we have optional solar. On this new 43, the coach roof has actually been extended a little bit beyond the traveller. So we have optional solar on the back there for those that want it. This also gives extra shade cover to the area down below. Now this sail bag and sail we have here is a standard setup on this vessel. We can do it with a square top as well, but we can also do the Lagoon furling boom system, which we have seen on the Lagoon 46 to date, and it will be available on the Lagoon 43 coming soon. So another great feature to make this vessel even more manageable and even simpler to operate. The semi-fly is also fitted with a radio remote as well for listening to your music, so you can control all the volumes and the Bluetooth connections from the comfort of up here. Let's head back down now and take a look at the bow of the vessel and what that has to offer. So traversing down the side of the 43, we have plenty of deck space as we're accustomed to on all the lagoons. Something important to note is the handrail. Now there are a number of these all the way around the coach roof, providing excellent security for those moving down the side who are a little unsure. The decks here at the bow are very wide. We will talk about it in a bit, but we have a big chine in the bow of the Lagoon 43, which gives us a lot of volume and makes the decks even wider up the bow on each hull. One of the biggest changes up here on this new model, and in something we see a lot more closer on the Lagoon 46, is this centralized seating area on the bow. We have a proper footwell and plenty of lounging space, making it a very comfortable area to hang out on the front of the vessel. There is also seamless connection, which is another addition on this new model, between the saloon and this forward area here. So this window actually opens up, providing good ventilation into the saloon and easy communication. Let's not forget the galley, which we'll look at soon, is just the other side of this window, so really great for passing out those drinks as the sun is going down. Under my feet here, we have access directly into the chain locker. Now this is nice, you do not have to lift up a cushion to get into the chain locker. Lift up the deck hatch, you can store fenders and lines in there, as well as monitor your chain with the anchor remote in there as well. The generator option is located just under this cushion in a great location with easy access. For those not wanting to rely on a generator, Lagoon are now offering a silent package consisting of increased alternator size on the engines, a large inverter, and a lithium battery bank, which can be paired with the solar system option from the factory. This is a nice alternative to the generator setup. just underneath where I'm sitting here is one of the two 300-litre water tanks. A second optional 300-litre water tank is available under the bed in the forward port cabin. The optional trampoline cushions are a nice way to increase your comfort for those looking to lie on the front of the boat all day. Moving further forward and either side, as per all the Lagoon models, we have ample storage in both of the bows. Again, the volume in this is huge because of the extra beam that we see on this new 43. Of course, on the bow, it's important not to forget all the essentials. We have the windlass there in the center, the chain roller along here with the anchor and the Code Zero rig for flying an asymmetric kite or a Code Zero, as well as our furling jib here. The Genoa on this model is not a self-tacker, a departure from what we had on the Lagoon 42 with the mast coming a little bit further forward. On this model, we have more of a conventional sheeting system for the foresail. Having examined the outside in detail, let's take a look at the inside now and see where this vessel really comes into her own. It's worth pointing out on the side decks running down each side, all the deck hatches are flush mounted, so much less stuff to stub your toe on as you make your way around the vessel. As we move around the vessel doing this walkthrough, it's really occurred to me that it is super easy to get around. There aren't any sharp edges. The flow and the design of the movement and the use of space for that is second to none. It works really nicely at first impressions. Now, moving into where the magic really happens, this is where the design team from Lagoon have really put a lot of work in and really nailed it. They've created a seamless flow from the aft cockpit through to the saloon. These saloon doors open the full width of the opening. 3 separate saloon doors go into a casing here, and these are fully customizable. So if you want to have them fully stowed like this, you can. The other option is to have them all the way out and just an open panel here, or all 3 over that side. So depending on the configuration, you can set these doors up to suit. Talking of configuration, we have it set up here for the boat show with a large outside dining table and a smaller internal coffee table. Now, the other options are a large inside dining table and a large outside dining table, and these bench seats would remain unchanged. But in the event that you're hosting a party, you've got friends on board, or you just want to really spread out, these 2 bench seats can be moved out to either side. And what this does is it means that you can put the large table that would be inside further down this end. You rotate the little coffee table 90 degrees to extend the internal table, and with only a gap here of about a foot between the 2 tables, you have seamless dining from the front of the saloon all the way to the back of the cockpit. This bench here obviously becomes a bench seat on the outside, being movable as well, so very configurable depending on how you want to set it up. If you're not into that and you do want to leave it as 2 separate dining areas, that can be done as well, as this is one of the most versatile spaces I've seen on a vessel. Now, to create this seamless integration between the cockpit and the saloon, the galley, which on the older 42 model was on the starboard side, the galley has been moved to port forward. This is a very clever way to do it, and I think this galley is actually quite a lot larger than the older model, and what we see here is a forward-facing galley. So you can be in control of the boat, sailing along, keeping a lookout, making a sandwich. So this is a great way to do it, and especially for those that might get a little seasick or a little bit of motion sickness, to be looking forward in the direction of travel is an absolute winner. The galley is equipped with 2 sinks, a slightly large one to the left and a slightly smaller one. There is a saltwater rinsing tap as well as your freshwater tap. Now, on all lagoons, there is a standard UV filtration system. So it's actually a 2-part system. It's a high micron filter and then also a UV sterilization of all the tank water coming out of this. Now, this is aimed to reduce plastic waste, meaning you can drink the water from your tanks. The port side of the galley is equipped with the gas oven and the gas cooktop as well. The opening window that we looked at a short while ago is amazing for ventilation in the galley. I can instantly feel a really nice cross breeze coming in there, and it's just cooled the inside of the boat down by a couple of degrees already. So a great feature. You'll notice that the mast or the compression post is further forward, as we discussed just on the outside of the vessel. So this is a compression post really freeing up this saloon area to give us a lot more flexibility with the space, and I think it's really worked. As mentioned earlier, on the port aft corner of the saloon, we have the full height fridge, so on this vessel, maximum refrigeration space. One thing I'll notice here as well is plenty of storage. Now, again, this was another design brief for the team. The storage on the Lagoon 43 needs to be incredible. So every little area has been made use of. This is, for example, a bit of dead space behind the fridge. Amazing galley pantry storage for those that need it. Under the floor as well, as per all the Lagoon models, we have huge storage lockers for your dry goods, rices, pastas, all, tin stuff, all the stuff that can be stored in a locker like that. But you're not left wanting storage space in the galley at all. The last corner of the saloon that we haven't looked at is the vessel management and entertainment section. So in this worktop here, we have a 42-inch TV which comes up out of the countertop. It's nice because when your TV's not on, you're not looking at a blank TV, it stows fully away, but in a great position here to be viewed for watching movies from the internal lounging area. Again, great storage under here, making use of all the areas. Just outboard of the TV here is what I call the vessel management station. Now this is where the VHF is, it's where all your water tanks, your battery monitoring system is, as well as the switching panels, all your navigation lights, your navigation instruments, fridges, bilge pumps, generator controls and inverter controls. There is not a dedicated chart plotter down here, however I don't think that's an issue because the Helm Station is just a couple of meters away from me over there. For those that do want a writing station or a desk when choosing the 3-cabin layout, there is one down there where you can set up more of a workstation. Now let's head into the cabins and take a look at what they have to offer. So down into the port hull and heading aft into the slightly larger of the 2 guest cabins, we have this beautiful sized cabin. Now the volume in the back end of the boat is a little bit larger on the Lagoon 43, and we're seeing that here. This cabin is a little bit wider as it moves aft. Plenty of great light in this cabin with 2 huge hull windows, one looking outboard, one looking aft, as well as the skylight here for ventilation. All the deck hatches on board have a block-out blind and a fly screen. You will notice just above the bed here we have an optional Pullman berth. Now this is a great option for those wanting a little bit of extra accommodation for those on board without having to make the saloon table into a bed. We see here in the cabins, as we did upstairs, that storage has been taken to another level. So under the bed here, for example, great under bed storage. We also have heaps of good hanging room just outboard here, as well as plenty of storage. If I close the door here, we've got huge shelves in here. So we're certainly not lacking that. And I think there's even more storage in the forward cabin. Before we go there, we'll just take a look at the new bathroom setup on this model. So moving in here, this is the first time on a vessel of this size that we have 2 bathrooms on port, both with a separate toilet and shower separation. So the toilet is aft here, and there is a screen here to separate the shower. So often in the forward cabin, on a vessel of this size, you're showering over the toilet. So this is a great improvement. Both these shower compartments are the same size, taking up the same place with the same offering. There is a clever system here in that the wash basin is in the shower, but it can actually fold away to create a larger shower for those that want it. And when you need the sink and the wash basin again, you just fold it back out, and there you go. Into the forward cabin now, let's take a look at what we have on offer here. Just on the outboard side here, we have the toilet compartment, again the same size as the one we just looked in, with a separate shower and toilet. In this forward cabin is where we really notice the extra volume that we have in the Lagoon 43 in the bows. Now we have that chine on the outside of the bows above the waterline that gives us a lot more volume. So I reckon this is almost as big as the Lagoon 46 forward cabin, but on a much smaller vessel. The bed is semi-walk around, it doesn't feel pinched at either end. It's a really nice cabin. The bed is quite low as well, and that's a nice feature because typically on at the front of a vessel you have to raise the bed to get the volume or the width as the hull gets wider, but because of that chine, the bed can be quite low, and that makes the cabin feel a lot bigger as well. Beautiful hull windows as well with plenty of ventilation. You will notice an access hatch there in the bulkhead. That is a hatch into what would be the forward cabin, the skipper's cabin in the bow, if you ticked that arrangement. That's just to allow an emergency exit for regulation requirements. Again, in this cabin, we see a lot of storage, underbed storage, as well as hanging room and storage space here. Behind the access door to the cabin, there's actually 3 compartments this size. So heaps of storage. I'm very impressed, absolutely impressed. Okay, so the moment we've all been waiting for, we're heading now into the master cabin. Now this is one of the biggest design changes from Lagoon on this vessel, taking a new layout and giving it new evolution to make the use of space on board. Moving aft, we have one of the biggest toilet and bathroom setups on a vessel of this size. The reason why we've done this is to make use of all the volume that we have in the hull of the vessel. A catamaran hull is a lot wider at the transom, and therefore we can make a lot more use of the space in terms of a livability area at the back here. So a massive shower here, plenty of natural light, a nice seat if I need it in the shower, as well as just all the amenities, shelf space you could need. But this is a huge shower connecting very nicely to the main bathroom, wash basin, mirror setup here. Very nice vanity unit, and it really doesn't feel like we're on a boat at this stage. Just on the inboard side of the shower, we have the toilet compartment, which is very huge. It doesn't feel claustrophobic at all. And part of the reason with going with the aft bathroom here is that it gives us all the more volume to create a separate toilet compartment. The separate toilet was first done on the 46 and the Lagoon 50 and was a super popular upgrade from previous models. And having the bathroom at the back of the vessel allows us to give privacy for those using the toilet, as well as having a luxurious bathroom. Just forward of the toilet, and one of the most important things on board, we have the washing machine. An 8 kg washer, and it can dry up to 5 kg of your garments. As well, above and below the washing machine, we have plenty of storage space for towels, Manchester and bedding. For those wanting a bit of extra privacy in the bathroom, there is a sliding partition here, which does close off the shower and bathroom area completely. So great use of space. We're not relying on a hinge here. It's a sliding door that closes off the area. Moving forward into the living area of the master cabin, inboard, again, plenty of storage. There's a sliding door to give you privacy, slides very smoothly on rails. And again, in the door, heaps of really useful storage. On the outboard side of the vessel, we have a writing desk / workstation with, again, plenty of storage underneath, hanging room in here, and cupboard space down here. So very user-friendly, a great place to set up. Into the forward section of the master cabin, and we have the berth. Now this is, I reckon, the same size as the berth as it was on the 42 when it was at the back of the boat. So we haven't lost anything in terms of onboard comfort for those sleeping on board by moving the bed up to the slightly skinnier end of the vessel. We've only gained by having more usable utilities down the back end of the vessel. Again, the bed, as per the other side, is nice and low, given those chines in the hull allow us to drop the bed and make full use of the beam. A very nice cabin here, good ventilation, amazing hull windows, and overall it's finished very nicely. This vessel is actually fitted with the Elegance line package. Now this is a factory package that allows us to lift the internal quality of the vessel. It makes it feel a little bit more like being in a luxury hotel rather than on a boat. So if I was ordering one of these boats for myself, I'd definitely tick that box for that little bit of extra creature comfort. And that brings us to the end of this walkthrough on the new Lagoon 43 from Lagoon Catamarans. It had big shoes to fill chasing the Lagoon 42, and it absolutely has delivered. The new design changes and the evolution in the Lagoon range is definitely clear to see, and what keeps them at the front of this industry in the blue water cruising segment. My name is Joe Fox from the team at TMG Yachts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to learn more about this vessel, do get in touch with myself and the team, and we would be happy to discuss. If you enjoyed this video, do like and subscribe to be updated with more Lagoon related content, and we look forward to having one of these stunning vessels down under in Australia.